Today's episode is another one in the mindset series. This series is amazing, and hopefully you guys are enjoying it just as much as me and my co-host Mandy Mcallister. Today we're talking about systemization and organization, and why we think that's important. And this is definitely a weakness of mine and something that I'm definitely working on in 2021. So it was really interesting to hear some stuff that Mandy talked about. I actually do some more systems that I have some more systems than I realized, but it's a cool episode. And who doesn't want to be more organized and who doesn't want to be more systematized? So stick around for all of today's episode. Hello and welcome to Wrestling with Real Estate, where we look to chokeslam all your real estate problems. I'm your host, former WWE wrestler and now Cirque du Soleil performer, and of course, multifamily real estate investor, Barri Griffiths. Now today we have Mandy Mcallister with us once again, so we're very lucky, honored, happy, excited, all of the above.
Hi.
Oh, hi. How's it going, Mandy?
Living the dream, Barry. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. The dream is all ours. But we are here to talk about all things mindset because we love that. We're excited about it. We think it's super, super important. And we hope you guys do too. And hopefully it provides a lot of value for people out there, right? And learn some stuff as much as we learn from each other, I think, as well.
Absolutely. Well, we were just saying that I'm stealing all of your ideas from this next topic.
I'm stealing your ideas, yeah, because what we're going to be talking about is systems and organization, right? And this is definitely a weak point for me, right? Being a former wrestler, carpenter, construction guy, right? Organization wasn't, always part of my life, right? And I think that was a reason I became those things, right? Because, I wasn't necessarily going to be an office clerk, I don't think, right? But obviously with running my own business and, diving deeper and deeper into that business, I think system and organization is important because you can miss so much stuff, right? If you're not organized, like how do you know what you're supposed to do next? Where is things? What you're going to miss things. It just can be a mess. So how important is system and organization to you, Mandy Mcallister?
I'll tell you what. So having a pretty demanding day job, being a single mama, working through, some larger property acquisitions, like trying to do this business, what it is, and helping other people along their path too. If I did not have systems in place where I have systems in place, your girl would get nothing done, right? And I feel like this is a tremendous work in progress for me because, I do truly feel that I get so much done because I have automated a lot of stuff. But I mean, there's still a lot of work to do. So I'll give you an actionable step that I love, right? So I get a chance to connect with a lot of people, right? And in terms of, keeping track of who I talk to and when, I have found that I fit a lot more in my days if I use a calendar app like Calendly. I know you and I both use that. We always book our meetings here with Calendly, this is when I'm available instead of the 7 time back and forth. And you know what, honestly, like I always screw up time zones. Right. And that kind of takes care of the time zone issue too. So that's great. It automatically uploads any meetings directly to my calendar. And it also communicates directly with my CRM that I use, HubSpot. So one excellent benefit there is when I'm booking, conversations with people who want to potentially invest in deals that I'm taking down, passive investors. The SEC requires, if it's a 506B, the friends and family raise for non-accredited investors, that they require that you have X number of touches or you have some substantial relationship predating that deal. So HubSpot and Calendly help me keep track of when those conversations happen automatically. So I don't have to add anything else in order to make that step happen. So if the SEC ever needs to ask, like, well, how many times did you talk to Barri Griffiths? I could say, well, look, SEC, it's been this many times. So I think that anything that I can set up once to be able to take care of a bunch of stuff on the back end, the better. And actually, I was having a conversation today with my Aspiring Women Achieving More group. We do an accountability group every Friday at 1 p.m. over your lunch hour. And our kind of rule of thumb is if I ever have to do the same thing 3 times or more, I need to set up a system. so that it's recreatable. It removes some problems from my life. And, so that I can lessen the amount of time burden associated with it, executing that thing. So 3 is our rule of thumb in our group. What about you? What kind of systems do you have in place?
I guess I have more systems than I thought. So I definitely use the Calendly link, which is amazing. What I've come to realize about, and I think it's, again, we talk about this, right, is understanding you as a person and how you work, right? And then you've got to systematize the things from there. I think that's so important, right? Because, some people are super organized, they remember everything. So maybe it's not as important that they put everything in their calendar. Or maybe they do because they're that. But for me, what I've realized is the Calendly link is crucial, because I know, okay, and it links to my Google Calendar. So Google Calendar is really important to me as well, is that it links. So I have, okay, Tuesday, I'm doing this interview, blah, 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 I'm meeting this person at this time. But also what I've realized recently as well is when I'm going to contact someone, if I say, hey, I'll call you tomorrow, Mandy, it might never happen with me because I'll get caught in and I'll be like, I can do that. I didn't give her a time. I'll call her at 1. 1 goes, I'm going to go do this. It's 3. And then, I'll call tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes and I've completely forgotten. So I always now tell anyone who hasn't got a contact, hey, please, can we set a date and time? And I'll put it in my Calendly link, and then that's it. At 11 o'clock on Saturday, I'm calling Mandy. Then there's no question about it, right? So that's one thing, system, I guess I got to give myself a little bit more credit for that. So little things like that, because I just realized who I am as a person and how I work, and it's so important that I put those. And it may sound really simple to a lot of people, but it's so important to me. Some people can just call up the next day, like, hey, Mandy, how you doing? And that's it, right? But I realized how I am as a person.
Same. Yes, exactly. I'll tell you. So in terms of systems, I'm also kind of old school. I really like paper. I really like paper a lot. So with lists and needing to classify things in my brain, I use a pink, legal pad for my day job stuff I need to do. And I use a white one for all of my real estate stuff I need to do, so that it's, if I need it, for some reason it sticks in my brain better if it's a different color. I don't know. It's just a thing that I know about me and how I learn and remember. But there's always a way to get one step further ahead of whatever it is you're doing, so that you can be more impactful with your time. In terms of organization stuff, this is another place. Gosh, I wish you could see this office. This is a green screen, so it looks like I got my act together. If you could see the world around me, there's file folders that are, keeping individual scraps of paper. I need to be more electronic, but a system that I am really, really great about is I bought extra space on Dropbox a couple of years ago, and now I've got folders for sharing stuff. So I needed to refinance my primary residence. All I needed to do was get the shareable link from Dropbox, and all of my W-2 information and everything that would be needed for that lender to access in one tap. I was able to get it to them. So having your documents, your important documents, digitized is such a time saver, especially for investors. And I have a chance to coach some kind of investors who are coming up. And one thing that I didn't anticipate when I took down my first larger deal was the need to have all of that paperwork together, right? Because your ability to act quickly when a lender needs something means that you close faster, means that the seller is more happy with you, means a lot of things. So having all of your kind of important paperwork in terms of, assets under management, assets that you own, your real estate resume, your all kinds of stuff digitized and in one place means that you're, far more nimble and a bigger asset to the lender and the seller, and you might end up getting more deals out of it.
That's really interesting. Yeah, that's such a great point, because obviously, if you have everything there, it's just ready to go. It's a click, right? If you're having to scrap to get everything together, my God, that's a pain in the ass and it's a hassle. And you only have to do it once, essentially, right? Maybe you need some updating as you go along, but that's a lot easier than having to every deal that you're doing or every time you're talking to a lender to send everything out. And I guess you could do the same with your taxes, right? Every year that your taxes, put them all in a file and then have them ready to send. Do you use any kind of QuickBooks or accounting?
I do. So for I own a portfolio of small multis that are just me. And for those, I use QuickBooks. And I just recently heard from a friend from Multifamily Masters, where my meetup is out of. He told me about Stessa, Stessa.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and that imports all of the information automatically in terms of your kind of solely owned rentals. You could do other rentals too, your joint ventures and larger stuff too. But for me, the 4s and the 6s and the 8s and whatever that are harder to keep track of, this does it automatically, and on the fly I can do a report with pie graph, and I can be like, hey, property manager, what's happening here? And it's a much more impactful conversation because all of my dollars and cents line up automatically and in real time. So Stessa.com, I cannot say enough cool things about that free app.
Yeah, and it's free, right? You said
it's my favorite price, Bear.
Yeah. That was the magic word to me as well, free.
Yeah.
Already.
If it's free, it's for me.
Well, awesome. And obviously there's tons more stuff that people can do, but I think obviously understanding that their systems and organization is important, I think is a huge step just to start off with. As basic as that sound, if you can just start down the rabbit hole of understanding that you can systematize a lot of stuff and take that off your plate. And the more organized you are, like you said, right, the better you keep on track. How do you know that the property manager isn't charging you too much, right? How do you know how much you're spending on fixing up a property, right? Unless you have that accounts up to date and you're putting everything in there. So I think that's crucial. So, I think it's so important that we do this. And I'm definitely, 2021, I'm definitely improving my organizations and systematizing a lot more. So cool. Well,
the year of systems.
Yeah, it is for me, for sure. Hey, Mandy, awesome. Thank you for being here again. Few things. For one, if people are interested in partnering with you, right? Maybe people are interested in investing in multifamily, but they don't necessarily want to get their hands dirty themselves. How can they get in touch with you? And let's answer that question first, and then move on.
Yeah. So on MandyMcallister.com, there is a form you can fill out to get vetted to potentially invest in our next deal. You click that button, fill out the little form, and we'll schedule a chat to talk about where your goals are and see if we're aligned.
And then people, I'm sure, think that you're amazingly smart and intelligent and awesome. So if someone is if anyone's looking at, and I think they should consider this, finding someone to coach them, right? Because I think mentors are so important. We both have mentors ourselves, multiple mentors, and I think it's a great way to get somewhere faster and quicker, right? Why not employ a coach? I know you've just started taking on coaching clients. If people want to reach out to you and find out more about coaching, how can they do so?
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for that. It's been such a neat thing to get to help people along their journey. Best way to reach me is, again, MandyMcallister.com. There's some forms that you could fill out there as well. Just get in touch and, ultimately on either fronts, whatever your goals are, we want to know if we can align and help in some way. So MandyMcallister.com.
Nice and easy. I like that a lot. Cool. Well, thank you, Mandy. Have an awesome rest of your day.
Yep. You too, Bear.